Bugbear. Gonna do some monsters. Gonna talk about monsters from the Monster Manual. Haven't done one of these videos for a while. But we're back to talking about monsters. This series was not forgotten. I hadn't put it on the back burner. I'd just been doing other things because I thought I found them more interesting. I'm just doing my sound check, make sure everything is coming through, and it is, which is good. Okay, so now you will find the start time for this video down in the description, so just check down there. Once YouTube publishes this video, I will actually update the time that we actually start. Now, if you haven't been part of my live streams before, normally what I do is I present everything first, and then once I've presented everything, I then open it up for questions near the end. So that's exactly what I'm going to do in this case. Like I always do, same sort of format, not changing anything in the slightest. Okay, so the start time has just hit me. All right, so that's good. So I'm going to get going. The format for this video is the same sort of format I've been using for the Monster Manual videos, but I will explain it as I go. All right. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons 5e. So why not have a look at the Monster Manual? I love monsters. My name's in the book, as it happens, surprisingly, for those of you who don't know, but I thought today, particularly since we've been doing so many videos on the Lost Mine of Phandelver, and I've been talking about a lot of Bugbear characters from that particular adventure, it was time to talk a little bit about the Bugbear from the Monster Manual. So this is what this video is all about. So if you turn to page 33 of the Monster Manual, you'll find details on the Bugbear for all of you to check out right now if you want. Now, Bugbears are born for battle and mayhem. They're like destruction engines. That's really what they're all about. The most ruthless of all the goblinoids that you can possibly imagine. They are absolutely ruthless. They live to raid and hunt and bully weaker creatures, including, as it happens, other bugbears. Yes, that's right, other bugbears, and in fact, other goblinoids, full stop. So being the biggest and strongest bugbear is the way you want to be. Otherwise, you'll wind up being in the bottom of a little fish. Okay. Bugbears despise being bossed around, but will fight for powerful allies and masters, provided they get to do all the things they like to do. And bugbears like to kill, raid, take stuff, and eat. They just eat huge quantities. Bugbears will enslave hobgoblins and goblinoids, or goblins. In fact, they will enslave just about anybody under the sun, but they will also usually have enslaved the hobgoblins and goblins that they are associated with. It just seems to be how they operate. They worship Hergig, a lesser god from the plane of Acheron. Bugbears believe that when they die, they have a chance for their spirit to fight alongside Hergig's presence when they're with their spirit, but only if they prove themselves. They have to actually slay and destroy many creatures to actually prove themselves. So that's why they're always trying to obliterate things, why they are like huge destruction engines. They are completely unreliable as allies, but they are tolerated by other goblinoids due to the fact that they are potently powerful. They make a huge difference in any kind of fight, which is why they are sort of tolerated by the lesser goblins. Bugbears act mostly as scouts and shock troops, and this is because of their natural stealth, which seems a bit odd because they're quite a large creature, but as it happens, they are able to move around very quietly, and that makes them hugely useful to anybody, really. They are fond of setting up ambushes and getting up really close and killing as many creatures as possible. Because remember, they have to prove themselves, otherwise their spirit's not going to be able to fight alongside their god. So hence, that's why they're doing that sort of thing. Now, normally what I would do in a lot of videos is I would give you some sort of rundown of the tactics of a monster, and that's not really the intention of this video. I'm going to just talk a little bit more about the basics of the Bugbear. I'm going to be using, in this video, I'm going to be looking at the stat block. I'm going to explain a lot of it. I'm going to pull out a map, grid, and dice. But I'm not going to do a huge amount in terms of tactics for this. I'm just going to keep it pretty basic. They will flee if outmatched, and if seriously injured, they will flee from a fight. So bugbears don't normally fight to the death. They are more likely to run from a fight rather than fight until they are slain. A bugbear's brute ability reflects their desire to smash foes with melee attacks, get up really close, and use their strength. They are very good at surprise attacks because of their stealth. Their natural stealth makes that a big factor for them, and they know it. So because they know they're quite stealthy, therefore they tend to like using surprise, because it's much easier to kill a lot more people or creatures if you sneak up on them and then butcher them. They tend to kill whoever they come across rather than capture, which might be a problem for you as a dungeon master if you don't want your party to be obliterated by them, because that tends to be how they operate. Bugbears have no sense of honor whatsoever, and they are cruel and evil. Doesn't sound like a particularly nice creature, does it? Okay, so let's go over to the stat block and just break it down so you can have a look at what we've got here. There are just a couple of key things I will point out with regard to the stat block. It's got an armor class of 16 with hide armor and shield. Now, if it's not carrying a shield, your bugbear doesn't have a shield, it's going to be an armor class of 14 because the shield bonus is a +2. The stat block indicates what's built into the character, okay, built into the bugbear. So if you're not using a shield, make sure to deduct 2 from that armor class. It's got 27 hit points, which is quite a few. If you decide for your bugbear to take a rest, which you can just like a player character can, you can roll 5d8 plus 5 and heal up that many hit points if you really wanted to. Now, so you understand what's going on here, the easiest way to understand it is, and this is how I would generally do it, is just decide on how many dice you want to roll, and if it's not enough, keep doing it just like the player's character would do. It's not a particularly fast creature. It's still basically, it's only 30 feet, same as pretty much everybody else. It's got high dexterity and high strength. And then other than that, you can see its skill is in stealth is a +6. So it's quite good at that particular part of the skill tree. It's got dark vision, so good for sneaking up during dark if you want to, or during nighttime. A challenge rating of 1, so normally a party would see maybe 1 bugbear at level 1, and maybe if you're lucky a couple of other little smaller creatures such as goblins and so forth. The brute ability. A melee weapon deals 1 extra die or dice of its damage type when the not damage type, when the bugbear is hit with it. And this is included in the attack. So you'll notice down under the actions where it says Morningstar, and the damage beside the hit is 2d8 or 2 8-sided dice +2. Normally with the Morningstar it would be 1 8-sided dice +2. But because of the brute ability with close quarter weapons or melee weapons for the bugbear, it's 2d8 +2. And you're adding the strength modifier to that. Now, it's surprise attack. If the bugbear surprises a creature and hits with an attack during the first round of combat, that's the only time you can get surprise. You can't get it at any other time. The target takes an extra 2d6 or 7 damage from the attack. So what does that actually mean? Now you'll notice, okay, what's the first number mean? This is the average. So as a dungeon master, when you see something like this, that first number, extra damage, 7, you can just take that number and add that to the bugbear's damage if it has surprise on its on the first round. Not a problem. Or if you're the kind of dungeon master who prefers to roll dice, that's what the number in the brackets is all about. Instead of the 7, you use 2 6-sided dice, you roll those, and that's how much extra damage you add to the attack. Okay? Whether you're making the melee attack with a javelin or a Morningstar, doesn't matter. That's how it works. Okay, you got 2 actions, 2 types of weapons. The Morningstar is probably preferred, and it's only a +5 to hit, and it's only got a short reach, so it's only 5-foot reach, and where it says hit and then 11 in brackets 2d8 plus 2. 11 refers to the average damage. You can just take that number with your Morning Star, and that would be the damage you do. Or if you're the Dungeon Master who likes to roll dice, again, you roll 2 8-sided dice and add 2, and that's how much damage you do. With the Javelin, it's a ranged weapon, and it's also a melee weapon. So it's plus 4 to hit, so you roll your 20-sided dice, add plus 4. It's got a range of 5 feet if you're using it up close. If you're throwing it, then you've got 30 feet and up to 120 feet, but that would be disadvantage. Anything beyond 30 feet is disadvantage. You can target one creature, so when it comes to doing any kind of melee attack that's up close, you can either select the 9 for the average, or in the brackets, it's 2 6-sided dice plus 2, piercing. Otherwise, if you're going to throw this weapon, it's only 1d6 plus 2. So you can see that a Bugbear is probably going to do a lot better if they actually use their weapon in such a way that it does not involve any kind of ranged attack. It's probably going to be smarter for you as a Dungeon Master to get up close and smack them with their weapons, whether it be the Morning Star or the Javelin, although I would pick the Morning Star. Okay, so it's time to go to the map, and I've decided to use the King's Road. Not so much because I like it a lot, it's just that's what I had available at the time, so I thought I would use that for today. So what I've done is I've sort of set up a little situation here. I've got a Bugbear here and some goblins. Now, the Bugbear might be with goblins, it might be with hobgoblins, it might have some mates, some other bugbears that it's linked up with. This can happen from time to time, and they've set up an ambush. They're actually hiding in the bushes here as the party are moving up. We've got a fighter, a rogue, cleric, a wizard, okay, and they're moving along here. Now, normally what you would do to determine what's going on is I would just get everybody to roll initiative. You know there's going to be a fight. If you've set up your monsters to ambush the players, you're probably looking at a fight. So I would roll initiative. If you don't wind up in a fight, you don't have to use it. It's always an option, right? You don't have to use it if you don't want to. So what I would do is roll your initiative, and we'll do that right now because it might be actually useful to a few of you just to see how it's done. We'll start off with, I think I'll start off with the fighter over here. So we roll our 20-sided dice. I'm using, now these characters are all just level 1, and I'm using the pre-made character sheets from the Dungeons & Dragons starter set, for those of you who are wondering where I'm getting all the maths from. So for the fighter, we're going to roll a 20-sided dice, and we add our modifier, which is a -1, I believe it is, for this particular character. It is, so 17 minus 1 is a 16. So I'll put our fighter, I've done that, fighter 16, there's the initiative. I'll roll for our rogue. Our rogue's initiative modifier is a +3, so I rolled a 2. +3, it's pretty low, so we'll put rogue down here somewhere. It's a rogue, so that's only a 3 plus a 2, that's a 5. We'll do our wizard. I rolled a 4, and the wizard's modifier is a +2, so that's a 6. So we'll put the wizard here. There we go, wizard. And that's a 6. Okay, and the last one I believe is the cleric, which doesn't have a very good modifier for their initiative either. So I rolled a 13, and it's -1 for that, so that's a 12. So we'll put the 12 in here for the cleric. And that's 12. Okay, and I'll just circle those numbers so you can see them. There's our initiatives there. Okay, and I've put them into order. Lowest number at the bottom, highest number at the top, and I've still got to roll for my Bugbear or my monsters. Now, my initiative modifier for our Bugbear is it's a +2. That's the dexterity modifier. So if you're wondering where to get that number from, on the monsters stat block, you'll see dexterity modifier +2. That's what you use. Okay, roll your 20-sided dice. I rolled a 12, which gives me 12 plus 2 is a 14, which means it really should be sitting between the cleric and the fighter. So I'll move the fighter to the top now. Okay, so we'll put DM for Bugbear. or I'll just put Bugbear, it's probably easier. Bugbear, it's 14, and the fighter is the 16. Okay, 16. Now, once I've done something like that, these creatures here are hiding. Now I'm going to pull out the goblins because in this situation I'm going to actually use 3 bugbears and replace them. Okay, just to make things a little bit more simpler for me. They're hiding in the bushes, they're using cover, they are obscured in some way, and now all I'm going to do is roll a 20-sided dice to determine what their stealth score is. Once I've done that, then I'm going to compare it with the passive perception for our characters over here. Okay, so I'll make my stealth check. So I rolled a 14. Now remember, the Bugbear's stealth modifier is a 16, which is pretty high, right? No, not a 16, a 6. So 14 plus 6, so that's the stealth. Stealth is 14 plus 6, that comes to 20. So any character, any of these characters that has a passive perception of 20 or more would not be surprised. They would know that the bugbears are there. Okay. Anybody who gets less, and in this case, none of those characters have a passive perception that is as high as 20. So they're all going to be surprised, every single one of them, which means that the bugbears will get to act and have a surprise round. What will tend to happen is your bugbears will wait until their target gets very, very close. So this would be probably a good point for them to attack because everybody is within 30 feet. They can get to them in one round. They're probably not going to worry about staying in cover so they get advantage by throwing javelins, because they can do, even though they get a better chance of actually hitting their target by having advantage, that's where you roll 2 dice and take the highest result. Remember, they truck out a lot of damage. They're all about getting up close and just overwhelming their enemy. And if they are outmatched, then they will run. So don't worry about using your javelins from cover so you get advantage. Instead, when you act, okay, we go through our initiative, our fighter doesn't get to act because they are surprised, okay? Our bugbears act and they can all move, go straight up and attack, okay? Closest thing is probably fine. You can go after weaker creatures, so you can split it up and take on different targets if you want. All you're doing now is you're rolling your 20-sided dice for your attack, and you're adding a +4 for the to hit. And anytime we get equal to or greater than, we hit our target. So 19 plus 4 is 23. We're definitely going to hit all these targets. None of these characters have an AC that high. Equal to or greater than, you hit your target, right? And then you're going to do your damage. Now, if you remember, let's use the Morning Star. It would be sensible to use the Morning Star, not a javelin, right? So that means your Morning Star does 2 8-sided dice. And on top of that, we also get to roll additional dice if we're surprising the creature. Remember, surprising the creature, and they are surprised, we get to do more damage. Now, all of these creatures are surprised. Sometimes you'll have a situation where somebody within the party won't be surprised, and therefore it's going to change things a little bit. Remember, if the character's not surprised, then you won't get to use that surprise attack feature that the bugbear has. So we're going to grab some 6-sided dice, which I should have over here. So we're going to get to roll these as well. You can take the average, as I said, but you can roll these damage dice. Okay, so we're going to roll all those dice, and we're going to add to that a +2. That's it. Nice and simple. That's a lot of damage. Can you imagine what's going to happen with a level 1 character, even a level 2? Okay, so let's just look at the numbers. I rolled a 5. I rolled very, very low on those other dice. I rolled a 4, so that's 9. I rolled a 1. And I rolled a 1. Okay, so this is 9, 10, 11, plus 2 is 13. So that's 13 points of damage when you have surprise against your target. That's a lot of damage, even for a level 2 character. Imagine what's going to happen with a level 1 character. There's not a single character that's sitting here at level 1 that has that many hit points. Okay, your barbarian, in all likelihood, is going to wind up getting hit and go down from a hit like that. Now, I rolled quite low on those dice. But this is one of the things with bugbears, is when they hit and they have surprise, things go really sour. If they don't hit, it's not so bad. So I roll again. I rolled a little bit better, a little bit higher. So I rolled a 6, that's a 6, that's a 6, that's a 5, that's a 1, okay. Now 13 would probably not outright kill a level 1 character with a bugbear against any of these. Even the wizard, right? The wizard's got 8 hit points, and that's the character with the lowest hit points. I would have to do 16 points of damage to be able to outright kill the wizard if I was targeting the wizard and I had surprise on them. Now in this case I rolled 6 and 6, that's 12, and then another 5, that's 17, and then we've got 8, so that's 18 plus 2, that's 20. So 20 will kill a wizard at level 1 with 8 hit points outright if you're targeting them. It will definitely kill the rogue because it's only got 9 hit points. Somebody like the cleric will just survive, and the fighter would go down but wouldn't be dead. So one of the things you've got to understand with the bugbears is this is why I don't roll for damage with my monsters, and why I use the average to flatten out the maths. Otherwise you can get these funny little spikes, and at low level it really makes a mess of the player's characters. Now if that's what you want in your game, fine, do that. But I wouldn't recommend doing it just showing you just how many dice you get to roll. That's a lot of dice to get to roll, plus adding a 2 to that as well. Okay, so I've covered all the basics that I wanted to. I am happy to do a very specific and concentrated monster tactics video on the bugbear if you want in the future. You just need to let me know. Hopefully you found this useful in some way. If you did, then please share and like the video. Consider subscribing to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, hit the bell button to be notified when I go live. And that will let you know when I am live and when I have edited videos that have been published. If you want to support my channel, you did so by watching this video. I have hundreds more, plenty of videos on monster tactics, by the way. I have a series on it. I also have some videos on the monster manual and some of the monsters in the monster manual. If you want to really support me, I don't do Patreon, but down in the description you'll find affiliate links to the book depository and Amazon, where you can buy stuff online. I get a small commission, and that helps me buy stuff and keep doing this sort of thing. Now, this is your opportunity to ask questions, give feedback, or just say hi. Okay, if you're not part of the live chat, then don't worry about it. That's what the comment section's for. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Oh, she's busy today. All right. Okay, let me just grab a drink of water, people, and I'll just chuck it back to the other screen. I am perfectly aware that some people might want me to walk them through a few other things that I haven't covered today. So that's why the battle map and the dice and the miniatures are back. Okay. Hi, Darren. I should be sleeping, but there's a bugbear afoot. Yeah, well, there are bugbears afoot. Hi, Darren. You should be sleeping. You could watch this some other time. Hi, Aaron. How's it going? You and me both, Darren. Dear. You guys are the best groupies, I have to say. Absolutely the best. What's this? Aaron, my inmate players are heading into the Underdark, so I have a new area to explore. Oh, sounds fun. You're talking about stuff. You're feeling ill? Okay. Freaky creatures in the Underdark. There are a lot of freaky creatures in the Underdark, aren't there? That's the whole reason to go there, so you get to explore and find all those freaky creatures. So they have their work cut out for them. Yes, I believe they would be. What's that, Aaron? My cleric thinks he can bring Dirigar into the light. Good luck with that, eh? Yeah, it's a lofty goal for sure. What's that, Aaron? He has a dwarven thrower, one of 3 hammer of kings. Okay. I'm not quite sure I understand that, but I get it. Darren, you think it's a good video? You loved it? Cool. Look, I know that I haven't covered Bugbear tactics in a lot of detail, but if you guys want me to do that, if people want me to do Bugbear tactics, I will do a video on that. Yeah, I was trying to stay on topic. I was really trying just to stay on topic. A little bit of lore, a rundown on the stat block so people understand how to read it, and a little bit of tactics so you can see how it would play out. And we roll a few dice so we can see how it sort of works. I just like rolling dice. It's just a sick excuse to roll dice when I don't really need to. What's that, Aaron? On topic, had no idea how to run bugbears, so this is great. Oh, good. Yes, stealth. Stealth and slam. Stealth and slam. And you really want to make sure that the party get as close to the bugbears as possible so that they don't have to run. You don't want them dashing to their target. You want them to be able to unleash with their full might. What's that, Darren? Please do, Fred. I love to see the tactics in depth from another DM. Oh, by the way, for those of you who want to check out the Monsters Know, I've put that link down in the description. There's a guy who's online who does a few monster tactic articles, so it's worth checking out his stuff. If you want me to do monster tactics, Darren, chances are I'm going to do it anyway. It's just when, you know, too many things to do and not enough time. Okay, alright, I'm just going to drink a water. I think I should go so you guys can go back to sleep. And yeah, hopefully that has covered all the things I needed to. Alright, so look after yourself. Make sure wherever you are, whether it's night, day, afternoon, morning, okay, look after yourself, look after your family. Don't do anything hugely stupid. And hopefully I'll see you next time. What's that, Darren? Yeah, great site. He's doing a book. It's pre-order on Amazon. Ah, yes. Interesting. On topic. Yeah, I haven't actually had a chance to see his book on Amazon, but yeah, the Monsters Know. I know that guy. He's got some very good advice. Not all of it do I agree with. How's it going, David? Salutations, David. Alright, I better get going. It's getting late. I better go and do some stuff and let YouTube process this video.